So, good morning, everybody. So, another nice brisk morning here in the high desert. So, today's hike is going to be changed up from what I planned the other night because it's since snowed and there's a bunch of snow up where I was going to go up in the mountains there. So, I think today I'm just going to cruise along the mouth of the canyon, see if I can find anything cool. I know there's a few ruins up here from the old logging camps in those canyons, but I'll see if I can find those again. It's been 25 years since I was there last, so hopefully memory will come back to me. But I think next spot we'll go is there's about a mile up the mountain here. There's a spring. There's a couple springs up here actually. We'll hit that first one and see if we can find any wild horses. They like to hang out at those spots here, especially when it starts getting cooler, like it is now. But we'll head up that way and see what we can find. All right, just about up to that spring area here. See if we can any animals here. Don't see or hear anything yet. See some deer tracks. Yeah, it's pretty trampled down up here because all the wild animals hit these spots, horses especially. But they're pretty heavy down in the neighborhoods now, so they might all be down there getting the last of the residential lawns. There's an old trough system. Be able to see any water even. So normally there's a little bit of water in these, but it's kind of hard to tell with all the leaves. I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see any horses right now. And a couple other ones we'll hit probably on the way back down. They're a little more that way. The root system on that tree. That is crazy. That's out 20-30 feet from the base. And this looks like a tree fell down, but it's all root system. Crazy. Yeah, tangled. That's nuts. A big old fire pit, it looks like. Kind of a weird place for one, but I think we'll head out over. Yeah, I think all the water is covered up with leaves right now. There's little watering holes all over here. Head out this way. So, I don't see any animals here now, but like I said, we got a few more we'll try out. So, over here, kind of hidden behind the clouds, but we've got Raw Peak, which is around 8,200 feet in elevation. And then over here, we have Lion Peak, which is, I think, 8,800 feet in elevation. And in between the two is the old ghost town of Como. Not much left. I think the only structure that's still somewhat standing, because it was rock, is the old post office, which used to be the seat of the county. And the post office was up there, I don't know, 8,000 feet, which is crazy. But there wasn't much else here at that time. But yeah, there used to be a few wooden structures somewhat standing, but there was a fire some years back that came through Como and just burned everything out. So you really can't see much other than the post office walls, which last time I was up there, there was 4 were still standing. They were about half down on some sides. But it's really cool building. I'll hit up there one of these days, but that'll be a dirt bike trip, because it's a long hike up that road to get there. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to hit some of these canyons here. I'm gonna loop up this way and start there and work my way over, and then come down and hit some more springs, but just to see if there's anything up there. Generally the canyons in this area always find a ruin or two, because they had really heavy logging operation up here, especially El Dorado Canyon. They'd have to have teams and teams of horses coming up here, and ox pulling all the trees out of these canyons for the mills, the kilns, mines, houses, everything. So it's generally always find something up there. It's kind of cool to see. But a beautiful day. And Raw Peak was named after a guy that worked at Sutro Mine, which is over, where am I here? Which is over in this mess of houses on the hill over there. You can kind of see the tailings right over there, but now the houses have crept right up to it. But so that was named after him. But yeah, so we'll keep heading up here and see what we find. All right, so made it up to the top of the foothills. I'm gonna head up this canyon here first. I'll go up until I start hitting some of that snow, and I'll kind of go from that one along the foot of the mountain to this one, and then over to that one, and then I'll loop back around and hit back down to the valley. But beautiful day. It's warmed up quite a bit, so we'll see what we can find. A little standoff there with that jackrabbit. He wasn't moving. I usually jump out of the bushes and scare the hell out of you, but he just stood there. All right, getting closer. About halfway there. Probably gonna take me an hour to get up there, and then we'll see how far I can get before the snow hits, and then go from there. Well, made it to the mouth of the canyon. So we got maybe a mile up before the snow starts, so start heading up this way, see what's up here. I don't remember if I've ever been in this one. It's been a long time since I was up in this area, but I'll see. We'll go up here a bit and see if we can see anything. I usually try to stay close to the wash because that seems to be where all the old mining roads and logging roads are, and where you're more likely to find the old structures they built up here to camp out in, as soon as it's clear enough. We'll hop over down to the wash area. I had a ton of rain this last week, so it's super spongy and muddy up here. But I'll check up here a bit and see if we can find anything cool. So I was on the other side there walking up, and I happened to see there is a wall over here. So you can kind of see the road they cut through here. I'll follow it down better. But sometimes they're really hard to follow in these canyons because they weren't built to last for 120 some odd years. But I did notice over here there's a bunch of flattened out tins, which generally means it's not their coffee or oil cans or kerosene cans or what, but there's just a ton of them, which will lead me to believe that there's a structure up here that these all came off or were going to be put on. So yeah, there's a bunch of metal up here and flattened out steel. So I think if we keep going up here, we'll find something. Yeah, because here's even more here. Just all kinds of, wow, look at this pile. Yeah, it's all flattened out. You can see they'd take the cans of oil or kerosene or whatever it was, flatten it out and turn them into basically roof shingles, and then put them on top of their cabin, or patch walls with them. You'll see a lot of old places around here that are still standing that have just a ton of these flattened out cans, patching holes in the wall. Yeah, that leads me to believe there's something up here. There's just a lot of metal. Oh, right behind mine. Look at that. That's pretty cool. There's an old structure. Let's see if we can get it. That's a pretty big one too. Still in fairly good shape. So I bet you at one point all those metal pieces were on a roof structure over this, or it could have been their dumping ground. And you see the fireplace here, and then most of these they'd build the walls up 3 or 4 feet, and then they'd have a canvas top they'd put on it, because the canvas top they could haul around on their wagons or their pack mules fairly easily, and they'd build these kind of little rock shelters and cabins up here. And there's the doorway. But yeah, very cool. It's a much harder life back then. You don't usually find a ton of stuff at these because they were kind of the grunt workers out doing stuff. They didn't have much, so they kept pretty tight hold of it. But I mean, you'll find bottles and stuff like they considered junk, but other valuables you really don't find very often. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I'll have to keep going up the canyon here and see if there's more. Oh, I see another one up there, I think. It's all right. Let's see what else we can find. So that little cabin we found is back behind these trees. I'm following the road up a little further, and this will kind of show you the work they had to do to get it up here. You can kind of see this road cut through here. They had to dig out a ton of dirt, and then they've stacked all these giant boulders along the side here to kind of keep the mountain from falling in. And they would do this all the way up as far as they could go to get every last resource out of the canyon. It's just crazy amount of work, because they weren't doing this with backhoes and tractors and skid steers. They were doing this shit with back-breaking work. And you see how they dug this out here. They just stacked these walls up here. Crazy amount of work. Starting to get a little icy up here, so I gotta watch my ass. You can see the rock wall through here, and it keeps going up. And they're just wide enough to get a wagon through here with their horses or oxen. But just now it's just to build the road, let alone try to go up these mountains to get any of this lumber out of here. And I don't think, the majority of the time I don't find any mines, so I think it was all just strictly to get wood for the kilns. Because there's not really any mines up here that would be substantial enough to build these road networks to. Wow, these rocks are slippery. And you can see the rock wall there. It keeps going up. I don't want to step on this, get off this hillside, because it's slicker than shit. I'll go up here. And you can still see the little roadway they dug out there. That could be the only structure. There could be more up here, but generally you'll find them. There'll be a group of them, and they won't be spread out too far. Let's see. I don't know where else to get up here. It's starting to get a little bit of snow. Let's head up this way a little bit, probably to that turn in the canyon up here, because then it starts getting a lot more snow. But you can see here all these rocks they stacked out to clear I don't know, it's probably 5-6 feet wide here, a little path. And this probably would have been from the late 1800s, 1880s, 1890s, somewhere in there. See, I think I'm gonna get the road's gonna disappear on me here. A lot of times these are really hard to follow because they tended to follow the washes up, because I think they were somewhat clear. So after 120 some odd years, they get pretty hard to follow because they've washed out about 100 times. I think I'm gonna get up to the high ground. The wash is getting pretty overgrown. Yeah, you can still see the little roadway. stick up here for a bit. I think I'll see anything else. Alright, I still see the roadway. But I'm not going to go too far up here because the snow is getting a little more, and these rocks are just slick as hell. I only have my regular tennis shoes on, which aren't waterproof or anything. But I think I'll just go up to this corner up here where it turns to the east and see what we can find. I'll see you there. So we're up about, I don't know, half a mile from the last video there. And I started to pick up the wall again. Got some mountain oaks here. Don't see too many of those up at this elevation, or down at this elevation. But the thing that drew my attention is right there. Looks like another structure. I'll crawl all the way up there. Smash my head. Yep, that's definitely another structure. You can see there's the rock wall stacked out. Nice and crunchy snow up here. Probably drops 10-15 degrees in the shade up here. That's why the snow is still crunchy. But yeah, there's another structure. That one's got some massive rocks on it, just covered in lichen. Looks like they built it on top of a big rock. I mean, just lifting these big ass rocks up there. Just a back that's used to hard work and heavy lifting. Yeah, the canyon opens up a lot up here. I thought it was getting narrower, but it looks like it opens up. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Like I said, it's amazing, you go hiking up in these canyons and how many of them have little buildings in them. And now, I mean, nobody comes up here. There's nothing up here. Just middle of nowhere. Very hostile territory. But back then, that was pretty much everywhere. So people trying to find their fortune or make a living up here in these hills. But I'll see if I can get up there and see what's up where that canyon opens up and go from there. Yeah, another cool old ruin. So I went up a little bit further, but got a little too snowy. It's hard enough to walk on these rocks, all these loose rocks when they're dry, let alone when they're icy and snowy. So I turned back down. So heading back down to head to that next canyon. You can see here, trying to follow the road down now that I know where it's at. You can see another stack of walls on both sides and a nice flat road here. Makes for easy traveling. But just peeking off to the sides to see if there's any other structures to check out. Is that carved in the rock? No, it's spray painted. I guess Gypsy was up here. If you see off in the distance there, let's see if I can point to it. So right up there, you can kind of see the side of the open pit. That's Virginia City. And then we've got Carson City over there underneath those snow-covered peaks. And then Mound House right there. And not a whole lot up here. So we'll keep following this down and see where it takes us. Oh, we got service back. Here's my phone. You can see the wall here. I don't imagine there'd be much down at the mouth. I think they did most of the work up in the canyon itself, but you never know out here. Yeah, I'll get down to the bottom here and we'll head over to the next canyon, which is over this ridge here, so I'll see you over there. I don't know if you can see it, but right down there, there's about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wild horses. Kind of just right. The zoom on this camera just is ass, so I can't get any closer, but I'm going to hike down this way and see if I can see him a little better. That's the first set I've seen up here today, so I'll go see if I can get a little closer for you. So there's the wild horses right there. They've already spotted me, so I don't think I'm going to get much closer before they start moving off. And there's also a single straggler over here, kind of funny. A lot of times they'll have one that they kick out of the herd, and he still kind of follows behind them, which might be that guy. Probably usually a juvenile male that they kick out, because the big dog doesn't want competition. Yeah, they're headed out. They saw me. So I wish this thing could zoom in. There's, I think, 8 of them. But yeah, let's see if I run across them again down there. So, just getting ready to head out. Had a little snack break and I looked up the hill and I saw what looks like 2 caves. I'm a sucker for caves, so I'm going to try to run up there and see them and see if that's what they actually are. It's way the hell up there, right in the middle of the shot. I think those are caves, so I'm gonna head up there. Probably take me an hour, but I'll be back.